Border Patrol agents crashed into another vehicle after a chase involving a driver. DHS says the driver rammed into a DHS vehicle.
Okay, this got very chaotic. So if you are unaware, 24 hours ago in Chicago, there was a chase between Homeland Security agents and two illegal immigrants that ended up in a crash. But then all of a sudden, agents were surrounded by protesters in Chicago.
Is some chemical being deployed right there at this intersection just prior to this.
Yeah, it got so bad that tear gas was deployed, more and more protesters showed up, objects were thrown at federal agents, but nonetheless, federal agents were still blamed for this.
Community leaders here are calling out ICE after chaotic scenes unfolded on the city's east side, leading to arrests and the use of chemical agents.
Yeah, so we have a lot to dig into. Now, I do need your help. Make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. People still have no idea what is happening in Chicago right now. With situations like this we're about to cover, I need your help to get the word out there. This is what's really happening, so let's dig into it.
A large presence of ICE and potentially Border Patrol agents at 105th and Avenue Inn on the south side of Chicago. Lots of vehicles blocking the street there. It's hard to tell if there are plainclothes officers or those are just residents in the area, but you can see, oh my goodness, at least 24, maybe close to 50 agents there in the area.
Okay, before we get to the chaotic scenes, this is going to be very crucial. Homeland Security, they were chasing two illegal immigrants from Venezuela. They were supposed to leave the country in 2024, thus Homeland Security was trying to apprehend them and do their job. Yet, it ended up in a crash and protesters just showed up and started surrounding the area. And again, this was a judicial order back in 2024. A judge said you have to leave the country.
Border Patrol agents crashed into another vehicle after a chase involving a driver who the federal government says was undocumented. DHS says the driver rammed into a DHS vehicle.
And again, I'm just trying to show you guys, we do have the footage and you have video confirmation that the illegal immigrant, they were running away from Homeland Security. I also want to point out, and I don't know why this news station did that, it does look like the illegal immigrants did run a stop sign, which again is a crime. So now we're going to get to the chaotic scenes on the ground, but we're going to do it from a third-party perspective, from somebody just live streaming it.
Back, kick it back. He's an ass. He's an ass. There you go. Yeah! You asshole. He's an ass. That guy was an ass. Oh, shit! That's a fucking move. That's a coward move. That's a pussy move. What they do? Oh, that's a pussy.
Oh, they're aiming the gun.
Yeah, he is.
So I just want to point out, I don't know if you heard it in the background, the person holding the camera or the people around him were encouraging the other protesters on the other side of the road to throw the tear gas back over. And I'm trying to give you guys the full context because again, city leaders are blaming Homeland Security for all of this chaos, but there are plenty of third-party videos which shows protesters throwing objects at Homeland Security officers. Let's get to these leaders.
Community leaders here are calling out ICE after chaotic scenes unfolded on the city's east side, leading to arrests and the use of chemical agents. Leaders from different organizations like the 10th Ward Rapid Response, Alliance of the Southeast, and the Chicago Teachers Union, among others, spoke out against DHS actions during a news conference this morning at United Worker Center.
As we see that not only undocumented people are being targeted, but also people of color are being racially profiled by these unjust actions.
Again, I'm trying to give you guys the full perspective because this group and other groups, they are saying everything Homeland Security did was unjustified. You know, they shouldn't have used tear gas. We don't even want them in the area. There's a court order that says you can't be here. But again, let's go back and check the tape. So you saw that right there, right? Somebody just threw an egg at that Homeland Security officer. But the accusation was the use of tear gas or anything to push people back. It seems like that was unjust. But for Homeland Security, again, when you look at the third-party sources, it looks like it was an escalation of force from the crowd. When you start to throw something at Homeland Security, we cover this on my channel, they're going to push back. However, many people are missing this. The main people pushing the crowds back, it was not even Homeland Security, the local police were there as well. Again, this is why context is very crucial. Here's the raw footage of the local police showing up to help ICE.
First got on scene and you were able to talk to some neighbors and some witnesses there on the scene and describe to us what initially...
Judy, wait 1 second.
Okay.
I see Chicago police are arriving and putting themselves in the middle of the situation right now. It appears there might be someone in command, from what I can see, approaching the area. I'm not sure if this is in an attempt to start dispersing the crowd.
Now, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see any local organizations talk about how the local police were involved with this as well. It looked like everything was sort of pinned on Homeland Security. Again, I didn't see anything, but that's why I'm here, to show you guys within the raw footage, it wasn't only Homeland Security in the area, the local police quite literally showed up to assist Homeland Security, and now this could be problematic, because the big question is, are these police officers now breaking sanctuary city laws? I thought they were not supposed to be helping Homeland Security. Again, that's why we show you guys the full footage on my channel. Make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can keep you guys up to date with stuff like this, and you're getting the full picture here. Now, again, unfortunately, this got really chaotic. Here's another perspective, and this is when we start to see pushing and shoving. And that right there is exactly what happens. When you throw tear gas back at federal agents, we cover this all the time on my channel, this is what ends up happening. And again, we hate to see this. One thing we want in this country is peace, but there are protocols Homeland Security has to follow. That is like protocol number 1. We see it all the time in Portland on my channel. The second a protester or anyone picks up tear gas and throws it back at the agents, that is it. Once that line is crossed, you will get arrested, you will get tackled. It always ends up bad for the protester who does that, every single time.
Trump administration continues to lie and claims only to be targeting criminals. But we have seen hardworking people, landscapers, construction workers, and street vendors specifically targeted. Our community is a united community bound by a long-standing tradition of resistance and cultural vibrancy.
In a statement, DHS defending agents' use of tear gas Tuesday, writing in part, quote, "The incident is not isolated and reflects a growing and dangerous trend of illegal aliens violently resisting arrest and agitators and criminals ramming cars into our law enforcement officers."
And again, this is an understatement. I advise you guys to go and fact check all of this. Don't believe the random guy on YouTube. Don't believe Homeland Security. Go on TikTok. Go on the internet. If you look up ICE crashing in Chicago, this is becoming extremely common. And to the Trump administration, they're questioning, why is this such an uptick in Chicago? What are the correlations? Because let me tell you something. There are other cities who cannot stand and ICE. In Los Angeles, we don't see anything like this. In Portland, Seattle, Boston, nothing like this. New York, for some reason, this is becoming extremely isolated in Chicago, this involvement with vehicles ramming into ICE vehicles or vehicles following ICE vehicles. But the other outlier is this will sometimes involve illegal immigrants. I think there's like this misconception that illegal immigrants are like in hiding. No, a lot of times in these situations, they will just be right there. For example, the video we're talking about, these were illegal immigrants who were running away from Homeland Security out in the public involved with this crash. So yeah, make sure you guys go fact check all of this and go look into it. There's a big uptick, a big correlation. Something is going on in Chicago. And again, this was the person who threw the tear gas, Homeland Security. Now they have to figure out how to protect this situation and protect the other side as well. This is why the Trump administration has been saying, hey, when a situation like this happens, can the police immediately show up? But we get into that gray area of the sanctuary laws. And this is where the police are, and now the police are also subject to this tear gas as well. But the argument from the Trump administration, this could have all been avoided if the police show up. You guys know the neighborhood. We're assuming you're friendly with everyone. And also, I want to point out, this turns into another boxed-in situation. If Homeland Security needs to come down this road, it's all closed off as well. It becomes extremely dangerous. Now, I do have one big question. Are any of these people involved with one of these rapid response teams? I have no idea.
Get him on! Get back!
And again, the more you mess with tear gas, the more you kick it back, it ends up really bad for anybody on the receiving end. In fact, you'll see over in Portland, we've been covering that story for the last 4 months, protesters don't touch the tear gas anymore. And if they do, they know that they're going to end up getting arrested or they're going to end up getting hit again with something. So you can tell who's maybe not used to this or doesn't know the law, but if you kick back tear gas or try to throw something back, more tear gas will just come your way. We see it every day on this channel.
Alma. Where is she at? I don't know.
And again, the worst part about all of this is that all of the tear gas, all of the chaos is now interfering with everyday life for people in Chicago who have nothing to do with this. And to the Trump administration, the number one way they are saying to minimize all of this, to try and have some peace, is if police officers will just come in and try to minimize any damage, try to calm people down. Because the reality of the situation is this. The reason why Tom Homan always says we want to work with the local forces is because Homeland Security, ICE, a lot of times are not from these neighborhoods, they're not from the area. So no matter what, if you're an outsider, you're probably not going to be liked. So if the local police are working with ICE, it looks like there's a bit of trust. That is the hope from the Trump administration, to work with the local police so that residents don't hate on them. But this is what we're seeing in Chicago. The local police are not supposed to be working with ICE. Thus, we have protesters showing up and doing this.
A cloud of tear gas enveloped residents and Chicago police officers just after 12:35 this afternoon, the culmination of a tense 2-hour standoff between dozens of immigration enforcement agents and people in the neighborhood.
Yeah, this is a long time. 2 hours is a very long time to gather more support. If you don't like ICE and you're calling people in, maybe let's show up. Now, one thing I do want to say is, if you're in the vicinity or you're in the public, you have the right to see what's going on. But the problem here, and this is what the Trump administration is calling out, there seems to be an uptick of every single time Homeland Security gets in an accident or a crash, there seems to be an influx of more and more people surrounding them. Now, look, we know there are rapid response teams, but we don't know the lines of communication. Are people saying, everyone show up, go here now? We don't have that communication, but an educated guess would probably think yes, since these rapid response teams do have the type of wording of, you know, we will assemble and stuff like that.
The impasse began shortly after Border Patrol agents riding in this white expedition crashed into a red SUV. Surveillance video shows they had been chasing the red vehicle in circles around the neighborhood for around 30 minutes before the accident happened, right at the corner of Avenue N and 105th Street.
And again, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know if the city leadership or other people, the protesters, knew this was a 30-minute car chase. So there are 2 illegal immigrants riding around the neighborhood, running through stop signs. Homeland Security stops and controls the situation, yet Homeland Security is being attacked.
So I went outside and I just see like all of ice on the floor, like with the guy. Then everybody just started coming out.
Uber driver Eliseo Uribe was driving home when he tells us in Spanish, the white SUV nearly hit me. I thought they were fighting, but I never imagined they were ICE. A Homeland Security statement today saying they were chasing the driver of the red SUV after he rammed them first, adding that once the vehicle was stopped, the suspects, who are both illegal aliens,
I do want to point out that Uber driver, and shout out to all the Uber drivers, that's such a tough job. Thank you for what you do. He just said the red driver almost hit him, and then the news said he didn't know that was ICE. The red driver, those were the illegal immigrants that almost hit a legal resident who works hard working for Uber. So this is why context matters, and I'm really trying to give you guys the full picture. And wording matters as well, because if you didn't know the full context, it just made this article or news station just made it seem like ICE almost hit him. But we see the red vehicle, that's who almost hit him.
Attempted to flee on foot. As Border Patrol arrested the subjects and attempted to secure the scene, a crowd began to form.
And it was a very big crowd. Okay, so in conclusion, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Unfortunately, we have to report on stuff like this because it keeps happening in Chicago. I would love to report on the community coming together and we have peace, but for some reason, and we have to report on it, there seems to be this uptick in ambushes and crashes and attacks on Homeland Security officers, and then the people who also get affected by this are the everyday citizens who just live in Chicago and you're getting affected by the tear gas. So I hope we can find a way to come together and have peace, but this is the story. I hope I gave you guys a critical enough and fair critique where you can have your own opinion on this. And one thing I do want to say, even if you don't like the Trump administration and don't like ICE, understand in these sanctuary cities, it's becoming problematic for the police to not even be able to work with ICE because of sanctuary city laws. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please pray for peace. That is what we always advocate for on my channel. God bless, and we'll see you all later.